First of all, I'm gonna get through this as fast as possible because it's just like everything's going on is trying to stop me from putting this blog out. First of all, I seen Cortez versus Sue Surf. You know what I mean? And obviously, everybody heard the audio like before the battle actually dropped. And the reason why the battle didn't drop the weekend that people wanted to see it is because it was like Mother's Day, and Cortez felt like it's not good to drop it on Mother's Day because people aren't going to watch it. And then it's going to be a situation of where, he wants like more promotion that week, so he wants to like drop it or have it dropped or air later on Caffeine the next week. He made that very clear. He put out a tweet talking about that, and he thought it would be a good idea. I thought it would be a bad idea because Surf's got a very strong fan base, so you don't want any type of narrative to float through at all. You know what I mean? Like, you want this battle to drop so people can see it, clearly, the first time before it gets chopped up, edited up, and thrown on the app. You know what I mean? And then you don't want people saying that Surf won the battle when he didn't win. So I felt like that was a mistake, but maybe Cortez, he wanted to feel super popular for one more week. I don't know. Shout out to Cortez. But I watched the battle. I heard what people are saying. I was in the spaces listening to some of the audio, but then I got out and then I was driving and I was listening to the audio through somebody that was watching it on a YouTube channel, like live streaming the spaces audio. So shout out for them for doing that, but it's kind of just like, yo, you don't want to like risk your YouTube channel off of one battle because they can and they will flag and copyright strike you for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Unless you in the fold, you can't do that. Or if you in a YouTube network, you really don't have nothing to worry about. It's not, you know what I mean? But you can't just upload the whole audio of somebody's battle. You know what I'm saying? Because they can pull that down. You know what I mean? I can pull you down for just any little thing with my network. So, you know what I'm saying? So I know, you really don't want to do that just for, some thousands of views. But shout out to everybody who did it because it was very convenient. Now, I do want to say this. I watched the battle, you know what I'm saying? And it's a little bit different from the audio. You know what I mean? Everybody, they went ahead and they did the audio recaps. The reason why I didn't do it is because I didn't want to, I kind of went live and I started doing it. I just got off the live. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it because the audio doesn't necessarily match up with battles sometimes. You know what I mean? You ever like watch a battle and then it's just like, yo, I'm going out of town. Let me just listen to it. And it's the battle you're listening to isn't the battle you watched. You know what I mean? Because it's like performance matters. The crowd interaction matters. All of that matters. The visual impact matters. Because sometimes you can have a battle that's kind of close. You know what I mean? One of the rounds may not be that close, but you watch the battle and the person may have won that round. You know what I mean? Just because of the production of that round. You know what I mean? How it was put together. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think it would be a good idea for me to do it, but shout out to everybody that did it. You know what I mean? Now, the battle drops, and this is another problem, Cortez. They aired the battle at like 2 p.m. You know what I mean? So by them doing it, people don't normally sit down and watch battles around 2 p.m. You know what I mean? So a lot of people still haven't even seen the visual. So like whatever the narrative is that's floating around of you getting the second round and then, maybe possibly getting the third or whatever, that's probably going to just float for a while. You know what I mean? Until everybody gets a chance to really see the battle. If you're app game, you're probably going to end up watching it. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait for it to drop on the app because I want to see how people are really viewing the second round. Me personally watching the battle, because I didn't watch it at 2 p.m. I had it sent to me. I'm sorry. I did. You know what I mean? So I got a chance to watch it like 3 times. It was hard to get through it the third time because there wasn't much energy in the battle. This is how I'm looking at the battle. First of all, Cortez starts off the battle. He said, have you ever been hated on before? Raise your hand. No real crowd participation, no crowd, reaction. People ain't really like rocking with it. And then he says SMD, you know what I'm saying, to Surf. And he walks up to Surf and he says SMD. Immediately he loses the crowd. Cortez starts picking up, he's throwing his bars out there, but it's like, where he's writing is dope, but it's not hitting. Sometimes it matters, like if material is hitting, and his material wasn't hitting to me. It was kind of awkward watching it. In the first, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, yo, Cortez is good, his writing is good, but he's clearly lost the crowd throughout this round. It's how I felt, you know what I mean? So shout out to Cortez. I think he did all right, you know what I mean? When Surf went, he's immediately like getting the crowd, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily because it's Surf. What he's saying has more impact, you know what I mean? And he starts floating through the round. Surf tells me he went into AMG mode. I don't think he started off in AMG mode. I think it was like midway through the round he picked up, and then he could say, you know what I mean, he went into AMG mode. But it was just like watching the battle. I'm kind of cringed out watching it, not necessarily on Surf's behalf, but it's kind of just like the whole battle in its entirety, because it's like this is a 70% Surf I'm watching, and he's out leveling like Cortez. There's way more levels that Surf has than Cortez in the first round. And it shouldn't be like that. If this is a grudge match, this is the battle of your life. And you've battled, if you Cortez, you battled official better than you battling Sue Surf. You know, and that's when I'm not understanding why I'm watching this. Where Surf is just gliding through this first round easily, like winning the first round. And that's what was disheartening watching the battle. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. You know what I mean? Second round, Cortez picks up. Obviously, he knows he's down around. He picks up. Energy-wise, he starts going crazy. Surf goes, right? I might be bugging. You know what I'm saying? I watched the battle quite a few times. I might be bugging. I might be high on air. I don't know what it is. That's the second round, even though people were saying, oh, this round is so clear from Cortez. When I watched the battle, I didn't think it was as clear as people saying it was. You know what I'm saying? I think it's kind of closer than what people are saying it is. You know, when I'm listening to Surf and I'm listening to Cortez in a second, I like what Surf is saying in his second round. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I'm like, yo, like Surf kind of gave up the round, right? Because at the end of the round, he's like, yo, like, Cortez, you got this one. He's like, oh, you got this one, which means like you got the round. Surf goes on like a marketing campaign, like, or a media run, like talking about the battle. And, you know, later on, and he's saying like, yo, like Cortez got the second, I got the first, I got the third. You know what I mean? And he says it in the spaces later on. So all this is in people's minds. You know what I mean? Like Cortez clearly got the second, Surf got the first, and he got the third. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, watching a battle, when the visuals and everything drop, it's closer. You know what I'm saying? But it's nearly impossible to argue for a person if he's already publicly given up the round. You know what I mean? And then it's like in the battle, he gives up the round. And it's like there's different perspectives, right? You got the perspective of the battle rapper. He's involved in the battle. He's probably thinking the rebuttals, trying to remember his material, figuring out which round he's about to use for the, you know what I mean? Like all this is going on like through their minds, like, you know what I mean, when they're on stage. Or if you know, somebody just complete a round and you just complete a round, like, yo, like, man, was that good enough? You know, it's a lot that's going on. You probably paying attention to maybe a few people like in the crowd, seeing their reaction, you know, all that. So you may not have the ability to see like everybody else would see, like if they're watching it visually on the camera, you know, or if they're watching it in the building. In the building, they were saying 1-1. Surf and Cortez, you know what I'm saying? This is what they saying. You know, you can kind of hear it's 1-1. This is what they saying. You know, and this is like the consensus of what was going on. So Surf goes on to everybody he lost a second. I think it's closer than what he's saying. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going to be the problem later on down the road. You know, so that narrative's gone. Third round goes, Cortez is talking about a lot. He's talking about a lot of other people. You know what I mean? Like, and he like it's kind of just like, yo, you battling Surf, bro. You know what I mean? And Surf is battling, he's battling you. You know, and then his third, he's battling you, he's breaking you down, he's angling you, and you spending so much time talking about other people and other things. And it's kind of just like, how can anybody give him this round? Like, I don't see how people are giving Cortez the third round. I don't see it. I think what's going to happen with this battle is going to come down to whether or not Cortez lost this battle 2-1 or if he lost the battle 3-0. That's what I think is going to happen. Later on, when this battle drops on the app, when people really start watching it, I'm curious to see how they gauge the rounds. You know what I'm saying? Because even though Cortez rapped longer than Surf, you know what I'm saying, Surf still had good material in that second. And it's kind of like reminiscent to where, not necessarily the same thing, where like, you know, Cortez was better than this, but like when Head Ice rapped versus Av. He rapped way longer than, you know what I mean, like Av, but Av did enough to make it debatable. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like just because he rapped more doesn't necessarily mean he won. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so it's kind of just like it makes you want to like watch it again. You know, if you really think about it like that, you know, and just you don't always win the round just by rapping longer. You can make it look like that, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? So I think it may come down to whether or not it's 2-1 or 3-0. Now, here's another thing. I'm hearing a lot of people, oh, well, Cortez, he's got to get his respect. I'm rocking with Cortez. You done mentioned me in the battle. I'm rocking with it. This is one of the pivotal battles of, like, you know what I mean, all of battle rap. You know what I mean? This is like the battle of your life. You know, I felt like you battled Official and other people better than you battled, like, Surf. That's what I feel. You know what I mean? Maybe I got to watch it again, maybe on a different screen, but that's what I felt. You know what I mean? Did this battle really do a lot for Cortez to where we're all like, Cortez was crazy fire? I don't think so. You know what I mean? I don't. You know, and I see Cortez, he's calling out Calico. He wants to battle Calico. If you would have beat Surf clearly, 2-1. If you would have 30'd him, calling out Calico would make more sense. You see what I'm saying? But it's kind of just like, yeah, you know, people are saying like, yo, give Cortez his credit. He got in there, he didn't die. Like he took a round from Surf, because Surf, you know, arguably like he ain't lost in like 9 rounds, and then he gets involved in a battle with, you know, Cortez, and Cortez get around. Like, we got to give him credit. No! Sorry. Rock with you, Cortez. You didn't win. At the end of the day, this is battle rap. I rock with Cortez. You probably don't think so, but I do. You know what I mean? But he did not win this battle. You cannot get, he did kind of good. You know what I mean? So we got to like shut everything down and give him everything he wants. You know what I'm saying? Because he did kind of good in the battle, but he didn't win, but he stood toe to toe. You're supposed to be better than Surf. He's been out here wilding on you for years. He put you in a state. I did a Spaces before I did this blog. I was talking to, before my phone died and cut off and all that. But Dubois, she came in his Spaces. I had her co-hosting. She made a point. You know, we were all talking about the battle, whatever. And she's basically like, yo, like, was this like Cortez y'all expected? Was this like the greatest Cortez ever? Was he better in other battles? You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Like, when you think about it, he was better in other battles than he was like versus the battler where he has like the biggest grudge against. And it makes no sense. And it's like all these grudge matches that I see, this happens. At the end of the day, you're supposed to win. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to win convincingly. Just getting up there, going toe-to-toe with somebody that's 70% and still losing is not something we all should be going crazy about. It's not. You know what I mean? But Cortez is the underdog. We all right. Like Jack Boy Maine was in the Spaces and he was talking about it. He was like, yo, I got Cortez 2-1. And we were like, why you got Cortez 2-1? And he's just like, yo, because the people in the building wasn't rocking with Cortez, so I got to go with Cortez because I know what that feel like. You know what I mean? Like, but that doesn't mean that Cortez won the battle. You know what I mean? It's just like people are operating off of how they feel in specific situations. Fans are operating because they don't like Surf. You know what I mean? They don't even want to look at the second. They just heard everybody blog and talk about the second, and they just say, oh, he just is clearly like Surf lost the second. They don't want to look at it. People are thinking Surf rapped for like 2 minutes. He rapped for like 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he had good material. You know, the second shouldn't even be close. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing, like with this, is I rock with Cortez. I think he is a great artist. You know what I mean? But I don't think he showed up and performed how he should versus Surf. He didn't. This battle was all about, and Surf was right when he said this, and I'm not just backing him for this. When he said this battle is about Cortez, it is. This is about whether or not you can keep up with a high, like, superstar, like, artist. It's what it's about. And he out-leveled you in the first round, clear levels at 70%, and in the third, he leveled you. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, still kind of out-leveled you in the third and won the third, where you should have just been picking up steam and going crazy. You know, even in, I think it was the first round, you speaking, you know, Puerto Rican and all that. I'm like, he rapping better in Puerto Rican than he is in English. You know, but it's kind of just like, Why do that and not do what you're supposed to do to win this battle? You know what I'm saying? Make it clear. Let everybody hear what you're saying. And then Surf, you wouldn't have him like going into the next rounds like, we don't even know what you're talking about. We didn't even y'all responded. Y'all even know what he said. Like, what did he say? You know, you got Surf doing all this in the battle. It's not helping. But you waiting a whole week, you know what I'm saying, for this battle to come out has allowed narratives to stick in people's minds. You know what I mean? And it's not in your favor. Now, if you would have just let it drop and then people would have immediately started like arguing the second and the third, you would have more momentum going into the app drop. But right now, people are already thinking like you lost this battle, the first and the third, and you edged or if not, got the second clear. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a problem. When you going up against a high-end artist like that, you know what I mean, that is a superstar and they got this amount of fans, you know, you gotta like get out in front of the, you know, the marketing, the promotion, like in putting things into people's minds to where it sticks. You know, but if you're just looking at the battle as a whole, you know, you lost the battle. You know what I mean? So if you can't beat Surf at 70%, can you beat Calico? You know what I mean? I don't think you can. You know what I mean? Or can you? I'm not saying you whack, but just going into thinking about you battling Calico, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And I don't think you can beat him. You know what I mean? But that's just me. I'm just one blogger out of many. I've always respected Cortez. I've always rocked with him. But on a grudge match, this is with anybody. When you have a grudge match, you have got to go crazy. When Danny Myers battled Tay-Rock and he went ballistic, he was supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because this is somebody that just like went crazy on him in marketing and promote. This is not like a forever like grudge match between Danny and Rock, but he did what he was supposed to do and he made it count when it was supposed to count with that particular battle because it was one of the biggest battles of his career. You know what I mean? And I don't think Cortez took advantage of it. But I ain't gonna keep talking about it. Shout out to Cortez. Shout out to everybody. I will be back, you know, but I've been stressed out. And, you know, just daughter's about to be gone for the summer, so I've been stressed. So that's what's been going on with me. But I'll be back. Come and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.